Yeah, businesses and locals tell us this extra security is needed along that stretch of downtown that's overrun by the homeless and drugs.
Tourists don't go there, don't walk on 3rd Avenue. It's not safe.
That's Alexa Bear, urging people to stay away from the same street where she manages Victrola coffee roasters. She says she sees crime driven by the homeless and drugs that others agree you can't miss on 3rd Avenue between Stewart and Union.
There was a shooting a couple of weeks ago.
All these people are going into the businesses and stealing from them, and the police hardly ever come around.
To help, the Downtown Seattle Association is paying unarmed guards from the private security firm Iron and Oak. They have a focus on de-escalation, DSA says, to fill the gaps in shifts because of SPD staffing issues. Locals have noticed what they're calling a dwindling police presence.
Things have just gone to hell. Between the riots, COVID, the shortage, it's all just kind of come together to create this vacuum that enables all of this.
DSA says it paid about $314,000 in the last fiscal year for private security, and about $250,000 to Seattle police to work overtime here. They're expecting to dish out even more this year, already doubling the number of private guards from 2 to 4, patrolling 7 days a week. Bear says the extra presence from Oak and Iron is needed to help prevent property crime or to keep the homeless from harassing her customers.
What would you like?
But says more needs to be done to help this area.
I don't think that having security is going to deter, I guess, like gun violence.
I talked to 2 women who reported this sketchy behavior to the AG's office. I mean, one woman told me she was told she got a negative test result, but she was actually positive. And the AG told me tonight it is absolutely outrageous that this company took advantage of people who were just desperate to get tested.
All COVID test line.
Notorious for massive backups, this is the Center for COVID Control testing site Lisa Sanchez desperately went to in Everett after her husband got sick.
Really angry, really, that you can put people at risk.
She says the site lost 2 of her tests.
Even though they couldn't find it when I was on the phone, it seemed weird that they all of a sudden found it.
Suddenly, she got a negative test result, but Lisa actually tested positive at a different county-run site.
Pretty floored that I was positive, although I had a suspicion, but definitely frustrated.
The Attorney General's office is now suing the Center for COVID Control, saying the company faked, delayed, or didn't provide tests at all.
It doesn't get much more significant than life or death, and that's what was at stake here as a result of their deception.
And take a look at this photo. The AG's office says the company stored week-old tests in garbage bags, piling them up rather than properly refrigerating them. Investigators say CCC backdated sample collection dates so that stale samples would still be processed.
So on so many levels, this company, they did not just act illegally, they acted unethically and jeopardized the health of thousands of Washingtonians.
I also had concerns that it may be a scam.
Barbara Baronian didn't even get a test result, even after traveling to 2 different sites, including the Lakewood site, which was later shut down for operating without a license.
I'm glad to see that they're being investigated, and hopefully that there'll be more notice to people.
So the main focus of this proposal is the pandemic and trying to limit people going into jail to help stop the spread of COVID-19. So that means initially people who commit certain crimes wouldn't go to jail.
They're frequently subjected to lockdown in a small cell, often with a cellmate, for 23 plus hours a day. This while hundreds of inmates are actively sick and spreading COVID-19. This while a global pandemic is still raging and spiking.
It's a pandemic-related proposal from the King County Department of Public Defense and others that would further limit the amount of people in jail. To do that, people wouldn't automatically be booked in for certain crimes. Some of the crimes they're considering include stealing a car, burglary of a home, certain kinds of theft charges, and failing to register as a sex offender. Recent COVID numbers in King County show out of the 1,300 plus people in custody, there were 61 positive COVID cases and an extra 63 people in quarantine.
This legislator is not very comfortable with the idea of setting blanket rules for who is in and not in jail by the legislature.
But the proposal left concern with some council members and officials from the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office.
It just tells the police, sorry, you can't bring them in. And that's a tough message for the police to hear when they finally found somebody who's causing a lot of damage in their neighborhood.
The better system is the one that we have now, which actually takes the opportunity for those high impact offenders to be in front of the judge, and then the judge makes the call.
And Mary, the homeowners don't oppose the demolition, but first they want a chance to salvage what they can from inside. Well, officials here at City Hall say the house is just too dangerous and needs to be taken down immediately. 2 weeks have passed since the hillside came loose and tore this home off its foundation in Bellevue. The wreckage has made homes nearby unsafe to enter, and neighbors like George Olson want to see some resolution.
There seems to be, lots and lots of talking and, no action except this legal action right now.
City officials want to move quickly to tear down what remains, but say John and Barbara Surdi have refused their requests. The couple's attorneys say they just want a way to retrieve some of their valuables before demolition begins or while it's underway.
They've got all their personal belongings, their keepsakes. They've got important things like computer hard drives buried there. The city took a rather callous view, frankly, of saying, we're just going to cart it all away.
Neighbors want to see the street clean, but also say the Surdi's request seems reasonable.
I absolutely cannot believe that house cannot be at least stabilized enough for the Surdi's to go in and get what they want to get.
City officials say there are too many risks allowing people to enter the property or sifting through the rubble before it's hauled away, but negotiations are ongoing. The homeowners say they've already lost so much and never expected to be on the receiving end of any legal action.
On Friday, when we were raising these issues in the city, I guess they just felt they had to bully us, and so they sued us.
Hi, everyone. I'm Preston Phillips from KOMO News. Thanks for checking out the KOMO YouTube channel. You can see more of our videos right here by clicking on the video links for more news from the Seattle area and Western Washington. Oh, and don't forget to click the subscribe button below so you don't miss our YouTube updates.